All right, so let's go through these points. The first one that you need to consider is the developer, the builders. This is by far the most important decision that you need to make as to who you're going to partner with in your pre-construction investment. Think of the developers as your investment partners. You have to be able to trust these developers before you enter into any business with them, because it is the developers that is going to make or break your investment. It is the developers that's going to drive these investment forward, making sure that your investment grows, making sure that they create a product that is very profitable, that is high in demand, that is of high quality. So you want to be able to have the ability to put in your money and then forgetting about it, having a peace of mind that the developer is doing all of your work in this development. Now, a good developer helps to promote the value and increase the investment for you. However, one of the biggest challenges with pre-construction investment, and something that you have to be very, very careful about, is that you have to partner with a good developer. A lot of developers are up and coming. A lot of developers and builders are new. They do not have the cushions and trust and reliability for them to finish the project even. There has been, unfortunately, a lot of projects over in the past that has canceled, and that is very terrible. Yes, you do get your money back, you get your deposit that back, that is secure because you put it in the lower stress account. That's fine. But what you do lose is the time potential, is the unrealized gains. I'll give you an example. Back in 2017, we were working on a pre-construction investment that was let's say a 2-bedroom, 2-washroom unit was being sold at that time for about $400,000. Come 2 years later, the value of those same properties had increased to $600,000. However, the builder canceled the project and canceled all of the units, gave the deposit back, but now those same people that had invested, or more poorly for the same people that were the end users, now they had to go and buy the same properties for $600,000 as opposed to buying it for $400,000. So they actually made a loss of $200,000 in this particular case. That's something that cannot happen for you. And there's various different ways to now identify who is a good developer, but it is important and very important that we make sure that you consider who you're partnering up with. So the first issue to consider is going to be the builder's experience. How long has these developers been in business? You can consider their experience by how many buildings, units, projects have they worked on, how much money perhaps do they have invested in real estate development at one given time. All of these questions help to answer how much experience do these developers have. The more the developers have experience, the more they have been in the market, the more the lower their costs is going to be, and the more reputation they have at stake, where even if they make a loss or even if their profit margins is very low, they'll still go ahead and complete that project because they don't want their reputation to be ruined. And their reputation is what's going to help their future projects to succeed. And if they cancel it, they cannot, they're putting their entire business on jeopardy. So their builder's experience plays a key role in making sure that your investments comes to fruition. Now, why again all of these are important? If it's an experienced developer, they would have perfected their process of building and construction. What this means is that they would have budgeted for increases in development costs, in market changes, in product costs. They would have acquired the lands years in advance, where even if they make little profit or if their profits decrease, they're still okay with it because their profit margin is much higher, as opposed to newer builders, because they would have purchased the land maybe perhaps a few years ago, as opposed to experienced builders, they would have probably purchased the land 10 or 20 or 30 years ago. Of course, working with experience, as we discussed, with experienced developers, it minimizes your project cancellations. They make sure that they deliver the project on time. And of course, an experienced builder gives better quality products to you. The second way that we can assess a developer is considering their reputation. What is the reputation of the builder? We have to ask that question. What are they known for? How is the quality of their buildings and of their finishes? Why is this important? It's because, yeah, the developer might be good, but how well known are they? What is the optics and their perception? Are they known as luxury builders? Are they known as quality builders? Because these things play a role. Are they known as reliable builders? Do they have good customer service? Because these optics, tomorrow when the project is developed and you're selling it on resale, that what makes the demand on that building go more. So for example, let's say Tridel. They have certain buildings in Scarborough, near Scarborough Town Center, which are 20-30 years old, but they have truly they've truly stood the test of time, and even right now, they're in much more high demand as compared to the surrounding buildings because of their management and because of how that building has been able to be maintained and the quality of it as compared to, let's say, other buildings that are within the area that have perhaps been ruined a little bit more. Quality developers, of course, have perfected their processes. They have processed the test of time, and they basically pass on those savings to you as well, and they give better opportunities. Now, the third element to consider for a builder is, are their buildings, do they have any iconic buildings? Because tomorrow when you're selling your investment, let's say without an assignment or otherwise, what do people recognize those builders with? Let's say, for example, I'll use an example of Fernbrook. If I tell someone, hey, do you know Fernbrook? They might not necessarily know the builders. But if I were to say, do you know the Absolute building, the Sorley buildings in Square One near Square One Mall in Mississauga? Everyone will recognize, oh yes, I remember that building. Well, that's the builder that's, that is building this project, and therefore why it's a good investment for you to purchase off me. So it helps when you're reselling or when you're assigning these builders. Have they built iconic buildings in the past? And also, because of their buildings that exist and their iconic buildings, they're tangible. You can go and see them. You can see the quality of their work, and that really helps to build liquidity and resale value for your investments. So the final thing to consider for a builder's perspective is, how's their customer service? Now, this is important because from the execution to your color selections to closing and managing issues and tear-ons and problems there afterwards, this gives a holistic experience to you as an investor. Again, they're your partners, so they have to have good customer service. That's important to consider, because how much trouble are you going to be with them over a course of 3-4 years? How good are they in those particular areas? But also, again, in regards to resale and in regards to the people's perception and reputation, it's very, very much helpful. So these are some of the reasons and why it is important to consider good developers, and as well as how you can consider if a developer is good, based on their experience, their reputation, their customer service, and some of the buildings that they have built. Always focus on the developer. The number one thing in your pre-construction investment, look into the developer and the builder. You do not want to be in a situation where they cancel a project because either they're getting low profitability, or it's not worth it for them, or they cannot finish it, or they don't have enough connections with the city to make this project go through. You do not want your time and money and energy being wasted. Consider the developers. Make sure you partner with the right one.